Anna Estep Jordan with Prevent Child Abuse Kentucky says 50% of the time in child abuse cases, the perpetrator is in a position of power. Do you hear that? 50% of the time. Most of the time, well, I mean, I can't say most of the time, but a lot we find that it's people that you know, it's people that are very close to us. A lot is in our own families, you know, and they don't tell it. I never told it. I didn't tell it. My mom didn't know until I was 18, and the only way she found out was because whenever I'd went to rehab, they told us to write about our most traumatic moment in life. What was our most traumatic childhood moment? Well, I wrote mine, and it was in a notebook. And then whenever I left rehab and I went home, I took my notebooks and stuff with me, and they were in a box, and a boyfriend that I had at the time found them. They were cleaning with my mom and found them, and he read it and showed it to her, and she read it, and that's how my mom found out about mine. One of mine. And you know, kids don't kids don't I don't think kids tell it very often. I just don't think that they do. I think that we're scared. I think we're afraid of the confrontation. You know, I'm still like that. Believe it or not, I'm still like that now to this day. Like whenever that old man uh, came up against me in church in the prayer circle and pressed himself up against my backside, I just froze. Like so many people were like, I would have slapped his face. You gonna slap somebody in church up at the prayer circle? I couldn't do that. Um, but I just froze. Like I couldn't even turn around and look at him. Like I didn't even know who it was at first. All I knew was I felt something up against my hind end, and I knew exactly what it was. You know, um, it was very upsetting. And I was an adult. This just happened like several years ago at my church. It could be a family friend, could be a neighbor, could be somebody at church, could be that educator, Jordan said. Jordan says arrests like these spark conversations statewide about child sexual abuse. She said it's important to teach children that even people who are in power should not cross boundaries. You know, it's okay to talk to our kids and tell our kids, you know, if anybody ever touches you and it makes you and it makes you feel uncomfortable, that's a no-no, you know. And a lot of times I know um I was ashamed. Like I felt like I was a guilty party, even though I was like in third grade. You know, uh I don't think it was a relationship there, Matt Easter. Even though, you know, I was old enough to tell. I was old enough to know that what he was doing was wrong. He was an old man. And he always bought me earrings and necklaces, and him and his wife. He was like 60 some years old, and he had a wife and had been married all their lives. And he was a bigwig in the community. They had an adult son who lived in the basement who you never saw. And it just, you know, everybody talks about the wives Didn't the wives know? Surely to God, the wives had to know. Well, when I was a kid and it was happening to me, uh, where do you think the wife went? Well, she was there whenever I walked through the door. She was like in the kitchen cooking or something. But she never had anything to do with me. She never really even said more than hello to me. It was the old man. It was the old man that gave me all the attention. It was the old man that wanted me to come over there. And she just, you know, conveniently made herself scarce. I just never did see her, even though it was happening right in their living room. So where did the wife go? Well, I don't know. Somebody tells me and we both know. But she'd just disappear. So yeah, I think not all, just because I had that experience doesn't mean that's going to happen all the time. But, it just goes to show you that it does happen, and it happens a whole lot more than what we think it does. I was afraid that if I told it, he would get in trouble, and then then he would know that I told. And that was the scarier part to me, was that he would know that I told on him. So it was kind of like, if I broke that confidence, that was getting put on me. And I was in third grade. I was a child. Children should not have to carry that kind of burden, And just imagine these kids that it happens to all the time. We'll just mention Lexi Bentley. Lexi Bentley told several people that she had been sexually abused since she was an infant. She had been abused since she was an infant, if you didn't hear what I said. So let that sink in real good. And all those people out there that looked at her like that, does it change your opinion of her now to imagine her as an infant baby? And that it just continued to happen to her entire life as she got older and got older and got older and got older. Can you imagine? That's why she was so screwed up in the head. I couldn't imagine going through that. I know what it did to me. Just what I did go through. I couldn't imagine being Lexi and going through what she did, and then have to live with yourself. Living in our own skin is one of the hardest things that we do as survivors. You have to learn how to love yourself. Most of us never even learned how to love ourselves, period. So it's not like you learn how to love yourself again. You never learned how to do it in the first place. And it ain't until we truly go through that healing process, which is a spiritual one. You don't go through it unless you go through a spiritual one, because only the kind of damage that sexual abuse does to children, it's devastating. Like, it just destroys the rest of your life. It truly does. And then we have to learn, it never goes away. Even if you do eventually get that healing, that spiritual healing, it still doesn't go away. You just have to learn how to live with it, and you have to learn how to deal with it. as best you can without ending up in jail every other day. Without ending up in jail every day and, you know, without losing your sanity. Jordan says, I already read that part. They need to have the conversation with them about body safety. What are appropriate relationships? Jordan said. Many children don't report abuse. She says without education like this, most kids automatically think that school is a safe place. So, if or when abuse happens, they don't know how to speak up. Well, I mean, it's the same thing like with our criminal justice system, what we're going through with it.